will charge a fee for Rainbow Park use. These are just some options that staff laid out. Staff does not have a recommendation on this matter at this time, but would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any discussion? Any questions for staff? Okay. I think it's important, just for the viewing audience, we did have discussion. The main reason this came up is some council members and myself had some questions. I, in particular, was concerned because I felt like we were taxing our residents twice. Our residents are paying taxes to the school, and then how the school distributes that is between the school and the school board. So that is why this is one of the reasons why this is back on the agenda. And I think it's important there's discussion before we vote so people know what's going on.
Right, and I agree with you there, because there's value to the program, but then of course you want to be a good steward of other people's money. And so in addition to that money that is taxed and being given to community ed, we have taxes that are being given to the school district, so that's yours. The other thing is, I found out a week ago that there's scholarship monies. And where it gets a little complicated is now community ed is making determinations as to who and how, what amount scholarships are given, and that scholarship money is coming from the residents of this city, and that's a very uncomfortable position to, I think, for community ed to be in, as far, and using our money to do that versus, because this is the only program that isn't run completely on user fees. Only one.
It's the only one the city
Thousands that
contributes
get
to
run through
financially,
community ed.
correct.
This is it, and I'm just saying, it's time to change the funding model. And I mentioned on Tuesday, I do have a heart, and there is a means to do this in which it's a hybrid in where we have money in our budget, we set aside some money in our Maple Plain budget that can be utilized for community-based programs, such as Delano Senior Center. Well, if we give community ed a donation from that and waive the fees associated with the park, the in-kind component, it turns out that it's not participant-based, it's not scholarship-based, it's just a fair and equitable and accountable way to administer this program. And so I'm in favor of a hybrid where we use some donated money as well as waive the park fees. That's my position.
So Councilmember Fay, you're leaning towards number 3 then? Provide a $500 contribution to the summer program and waive the fees?
And I don't know how we came up with the $500, but I mean, $500 was Delano Senior Center, and so I'm a big fan of maintaining precedence, so, 500 is fair and equitable, and 350 of park fees that don't get, it's still shy of the amount that we gave them last year, but it is what it is.
Is there more kids, because like, I've been up there the last couple, 3 summers, whatever, when they've done this, or almost, I guess every summer, but there's more than 11 kids, there's maybe 11 kids get off the bus.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more, so there are kids from like Independence and
Yes,
elsewhere
correct.
using it too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So that's, or just the 11, because I'm going.
No, this
I
is
know there's
just
a whole
Maple
lot.
Plain residents.
Right.
Yep,
So
Or
we're only paying
children.
1,700 for just 11 kids.
correct.
They're
Well,
they're collecting
yeah,
money from
there's
Independence kids,
There's
Yes.
28,
Yeah.
there's 28 Maple Plain residents last year that were enrolled into the program. On average, from Maple Plain participants, it was 11 of those 28 attended each event.
11 that attended.
Yep, per event.
And
11
at 50%, at 50% participation, it's odd, but it's not as popular as the numbers would make it think, because it's more of a drop-in daycare program where, not daycare, but where kids just
You
come
sign
and go.
up, but it's not required.
Yeah,
But
unlike,
you need to register.
swimming, if there were swimming lessons through community ed,
They're their opinion.
attendance is mandatory,
Mhm.
you know, and you're paying for it.
Mhm.
Here's a situation where you're getting a subsidized rate, and then therefore there's not that necessity to show. So that's difficult.
Other thoughts?
I agree with these guys, you know, $500 donation and waive the fees for the park, see how they respond to that.
See, to me, the $500 is a little different. You mentioned Delano, and I think, to me, we contribute to Delano because, A, we don't contribute tax money to them, and I think also because we don't have those services here in the community. Because we're one of the cities in this program that is entirely within the school district, I have a lot of problems with giving money because we're already giving tax money. I would be more than happy to contribute use of our parks because I do think it's a valuable program. But I would hope that, like most community ed programs, they could define residence rate based on who's actually in the school district, not on whose city contributes, especially since they have a budget that's 2 to 3 times ours. So I would be in favor of not contributing financially, but I would welcome them to use our parks at no charge.
You know, I've said often that it's a pretty nominal, I should say menial number to me. It's maybe a few pennies a week for our residents in taxes, maybe 10 cents at most. I think for the services that are provided, and at least the opportunities that are provided to the students, I think it's well worth what we're paying for it. That it could, you know, shape some kids' summers and maybe their lives. So, to me, if it was $10,000, it'd be something I think we really have to think about. But for how small this is, I think the communication of the dollar is worth more than the dollar itself. It's the partnership. It's working with this entity to provide services for our kids, and I just don't want to jeopardize that by saying, you know, let's play with $800 of this and bring down the money. And the only issue I've had with this from the beginning is it's not a charitable donation in my mind. If we're receiving an invoice, I think we just have to classify it differently in the books and treat it as an invoice. But I think it's a paid service, so I'm more in favor of paying the full amount, and it looks like they give us the deduction of about $350 for the park use. Is that fair? Is that year after year, or is that just kind of?
Yeah, that would be per year.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
So we would expect that next year we're charged based on the number of students that are enrolled, and then we would receive a deduction for the park usage if it's held here. So that's where I'm leaning. I just don't want to split hairs and then, you know, jeopardize a relationship that we've had for a long time. So
I hear what you're saying, and I think that relationship is important, and I think we do have that in other ways as well. When we look at the playground here, the city pays a substantial portion of that, and it's on the school grounds, and it's a city park. But again, we're already contributing to this program through our taxes. And I hear what you're saying, that $1,800 in the scheme of our budget isn't a lot, but it's the precedent. And if we
Sure.
said that about everything, then where is our budget? And when we give to the Delano Senior Center and to WeCan, those are nonprofits that we're giving to that are providing services that we don't provide. And on the flip side, I have had 2 different residents complain to me about the park program being there because they feel like they can't go there with their daycare or be there while the program's happening. So there's lots of different angles to look at this through.
Mhm.
So we do need to make a decision tonight, in fairness to Community Ed, because we said we'd let them know by February. So if someone would like to make a motion, we'll start there.
Well, I'll make a motion to offer the hybrid approach, which was the $500 plus the waiving of the park fees.
And would that be for 2019 or for going forward? Because the agreement we have now has been since 1980. I just thought this is gonna come up every year.
I guess that's for 2019, because we were told that they would have to know prior to February, because they would have to adjust their the
Catalog,
numbers or the
maybe.
printing or something along that line, if I remember correctly. So if we make a decision to change the funding model tonight, then they need to know tomorrow.
For 2019 and
for
going forward.
2019 and going forward.
Okay. All right, so that was number 3. All right, so there is a motion on the table for number 3. The City of Maple Plain will provide a $500 contribution to the summer rec program and will provide use of Rainbow Park free of charge, beginning in 2019 and going forward. Looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Timby. All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion does not carry. All right, so we need to come up with another option then.
Well, I would move that we discontinue financial support, however, we would allow them to use our park free of charge.
Okay.
It's not one that's written.
That's what I was
Yeah.
looking at. All right, there's a motion on the table by Councilmember Cahill that we would not support with a financial donation, but we would support in kind with donation of our park use and not charging the park use fees for the Owner Community Ed summer program beginning in 2019 and going forward. Looking for a second. Aye. All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
You can't abstain. Is that a no, or you can't abstain?
It's no.
It's a no, all right. Okay.
I would offer to mayor and city council that if a decision is not able to be made, tabling it and revisiting this in February is an option as well. I have to offer that as an option, just lay that out there. Know
Bobby,
that-
if that's an option, then we're gonna have to continue 2019 with the current
Not
funding
necessarily.
level because they need time to crunch numbers and figure out what it's gonna cost and get it printed and stuff like that. I don't think we can wait until February to do it, to be honest with you.
Maybe I'll make a motion.
Third
Ju-
time's a charm.
So paying as we have historically for the 2019 calendar year and then reevaluating after that.
Table this until,
Right, so we can give them an answer, that with the assumption that this will be discussed again after next year. But so a temporary, so I'll make the formal motion that we go forward as we have in the past with the agreement that we'll rediscuss next year.
it's
Does
just
that
a
make-
one
One
year
time.
window.
This
There's
isn't-
no
yeah,
funding for
yeah.
2020 until we determine how the model is going to work.
Right.
Okay, so Councilmember Broda has a motion on the table to go forward with community ed as has been since 1980. Looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Timpy. Any further discussion?
Just-
I
Go ahead.
do have a question. When community ed and their staff was here, we had till the end of February, correct?
It was not clearly, it was
Okay,
just
we-
February.
Just February.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the cutoff date is or when they print.
'Cause we're looking at almost March if we were to
Yeah, I mean, we
discuss
meet
this in February.
February on the 25th.
25th, yeah.
I don't know what the
Could
cutoff
it need to be decided at a
date.
meeting? Could we do?
This would need to take formal action at a business
Mhm.
meeting at this
Okay.
point.
I kind
I'll
of,
second that.
I think,
Yeah.
do we have, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just kind of feel it's what we did last year when this came in front of us, so I'd like to decide something tonight that's a little different. So I would move to amend that to say that just for next year, we would do the $500 contribution, parks in kind, and then we'll decide, we'll revisit it again next year, so.
Okay, so the amended motion on the table is we'd pay a $500 in-kind donation. I mean, $500
Yes, contribution.
donation, contribution, and then donate the parks still in kind.
So
For
similar
1
to
year.
the motion I made, except it's just for
1 year.
2019 only, and we have to revisit it at a later date.
Okay, so there's an amended motion, but I need a second on the amended motion. Which is number
We have to
3,
vote on
which
the
is the
first
first motion we started with.
We have to vote on the amendment and then we vote on the motion.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I second the amended motion, even though I seconded the original motion? I
Yes.
can? Well, then I
Yeah.
will second Councilmember Cahill's amended motion.
so now we are voting on the amended motion, which boils down to be number 3, correct?
For 1 year this
For
time.
For
1
1 year, for 2019. Everyone clear on what we're voting on?
$500 for 1 year.
$500 and donate parks in kind,
Correct.
and that's what we offer. Any questions on what we're voting on? All right, voting on number 3 for 2019. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye,
Motion carries 4-1.
we did.
And then we need to revote again on the proposed original.
Oh, sorry.
You still have to vote on that, even though this
Sorry.
already was
I
approved.
went
That was for the amendment.
I went
Now
the
you
wrong
need
way.
to,
Amendment.
now
Yeah.
you're close.
Yeah,
right.
we're almost done.
Thought I was keeping track. We also need to vote on the first amendment that Councilmember Broda made, which was to go forward as we have been since 1980, and was seconded, I believe, by Faye.
Well, no, it's been amended now, so we vote on the amended.
You're voting on the
Motion.
amendment, which you just voted on.
We already voted on
Approving
that,
the
though.
amendment.
But that's what I
Yeah.
mean, so it's been amended, so now we're voting whether or not we approve the,
Oh,
Right.
got it.
yes.
Right.
You're right. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm confused.
You
So we-
voted to amend it, which you guys did, so
We
you
did.
amended the motion that
Right.
got approved.
Now the
right?
motion's
Now
on
you
the
have to
table.
vote on the actual item, which is,
This is
Right.
1,700, something.
So-
Which I suspect will be 4-1 as well, but
Right.
we just
It
have to
would
do
be,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we
Unless
still have
someone
to
has
do
a
it
heart
because
change here.
Because
No,
it's
it's
Robert's
we just
rules.
amended
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So now you're,
Yeah.
We
yeah.
voted that it was.
it's the
okay
same
to
thing.
amend.
It's
Yay,
$500
parliamentary
1 year.
procedure.
Right.
Making
Okay,
things
so now in
difficult.
the actual amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. We will, for 2019, we will make a $500 donation and donate the parks in kind, and then revisit it next year. Okay, that was stressful.
Well, that
Next,
might actually work out well, because it'll give us an idea on a 1-year basis exactly what it's gonna consist of,
Mhm.
whether the model works or not, the funding model, the mechanism works or not.
Well, they might have the option, assuming they don't want to do it. too.
right, we don't know how they're going to respond. But in all fairness, now we gave them the time that they need so they can fund accordingly. All right, next item of business is council reports, and we'll start with Councilmember Kaler.
I attended the planning commission meeting where we discussed the brew pub ordinance we passed tonight. There's a lot of excitement around both the ordinance and the CUP that came in front of us, so I'm very excited that we passed it.
Council.
With most of you, I attended the fire person's retirement event last Friday night. I thought it was very well put together. It was emotional, it was well attended, the food was, I thought, exceptional. And I too joined Councilmember Cahill in the audience in the planning commission meeting for the brew pub. It was fun to see how the planning commission worked that all up again. And then, what was it, last Thursday, I attended Pioneer Sarah Creek for the first time of the year. And like I said, I will need someone to commit to attending third Thursday in February in my stead.
Thank you. And Councilmember
I'm-
Toomey, welcome.
Nothing, yeah.
We had your swearing in.
Yes.
So we're glad you're here. Councilmember Broda.
Yeah, the fire retirement ceremony on Friday was a great event, and so thankful for all the years, I think 87-ish years between the three of them that they had given. Earlier in the month, we had a fire commission meeting, and the fire department did a great job of being fiscally responsible, and it looks like they're going to come in under budget with expenses, and so just good work from Chief McCoy and the rest of the team there. But other than that, nothing else to report.
I was able to attend the West Hennepin Chamber of Commerce program, and our speakers, we learned about the transition program offered through Orno Schools. I was able to attend the Northwest Hennepin League of Municipalities. League attorney came and spoke to us about social media issues for city officials, so that was very enlightening, and employees. Also was able to attend the Highway 12 Safety Coalition, and we're just continuing to advocate and work together to make Highway 12 safer for everyone. Was able to go to the Regional Councilor Mayor's meeting, and with the Urban Land Institute, we're talking about what we can do together, affordability and housing, and just a good time of networking as well. I was able to go to the 3rd District Round Table discussion hosted by Congressman Dean Phillips. And he was very excited and wanted to discuss policy priorities. So, and he plans to host those again. So look forward to building that relationship and working with him as well. So it's been a busy month. Any other council reports? With that, I would just like to take a moment tonight. Many of you may have heard, and if you have not, it is with sadness that we share that Roger Meyer has passed away. Roger is a lifelong member of Maple Plain, an integral part and a pillar of this community. Roger served our West Hennepin Public Safety Department as a police officer for many years. Roger also served as a public works employee here for the city of Maple Plain from July of 1979 to July of 2002, so for 23 years. And Roger as well was one of the firefighters who served for 30 years on the Maple Plain Fire Department. So just a true servant and a pillar of this community. So I just thought we would take a moment of silence and think of him and the example that he is. And just want to say, well done, Roger, good and faithful servant. And if anyone is interested, services will be for Roger. The wake is tomorrow from 4 to 7, and the funeral is Wednesday at 11, all held at none other than Maple Plain Community Church. So, all right. With that, any visitors to be heard? Okay. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Moved by
I was gonna give that one to you.
Councilmember Timby.
I'll second.
And second by
Yeah.
Councilmember Broda. All right, the meeting is adjourned at 8:21.
I was going to, but it felt wrong.
Go.
When,